Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, we've all been there, right? You're standing at the office coffee machine, or maybe you're just waiting for a Zoom meeting to start, and you find yourself absolutely trapped in the universal dread of flat, awkward small talk. You exchange a few dry facts, nod politely, and then walk away feeling completely uninspired. But what if small talk didn't actually have to be a dead end? What if there was a simple, everyday psychological tool to instantly transform those passing comments into genuine human connection? Well, today we're unpacking a really fascinating framework called emotional receipts.
Let's start by looking at what we call the invisible moment.
Picture this. Someone says to you, "I finally finished that project." The standard reflexive response that we all use? Nice. You can literally hear the conversation hit a brick wall. The fact was communicated, yes, the project is done, but the feeling was entirely missed. This is the classic invisible moment. We're just trading empty facts back and forth. Now, compare that to a response that actually lands. What if you said, "That must feel like such a relief"? Was it one of those projects that kept following you home mentally? Boom! Suddenly the other person actually feels seen.
Which brings us to the big question. What exactly are emotional receipts?
An emotional receipt is simply showing the other person that you caught the feeling behind what they just said. Think about it for a second. Small talk completely transforms when we validate the hidden emotion instead of just acknowledging the literal event. You aren't just stamping their parking ticket, so to speak. You're looking them in the eye and saying, "Hey, I understand what you just went through."
I think this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Think about a literal paper receipt from a store. If you buy a coffee, the receipt just says coffee. It shows what happened. That's the fact. But the feelings, that's what the person actually paid. Maybe they paid with exhaustion or anxiety or just sheer determination. Facts show the event, but feelings reveal the real emotional cost. Giving an emotional receipt means you're noticing that true underlying cost.
So how do we do this? Let's look at the 3 tiny steps.
This framework is made up of 3 tiny but incredibly effective steps. Step 1, notice. You have to actively listen and spot the emotion hiding right behind the fact they just handed you. Step 2, name. You say that feeling back to them in a natural conversational way. And step 3, this is the real game changer, ask. You follow up with one question specifically about that feeling, not the fact. Each of these steps acts as a little bridge, moving you out of your own head and directly into an understanding of the other person's experience.
To really hammer this home, think about 5-year-old logic. I love this analogy. Imagine a 5-year-old runs up to you and proudly hands you a messy crayon drawing. If you look at it and just say, "paper," well, you aren't wrong, it is technically paper, but you have entirely missed the point. Pointing out the literal fact is a total social failure here. But if you say, "Wow, you worked really hard on this, didn't you?" their face lights up. The drawing was just the fact. The effort was the feeling. And guess what? Adults are exactly the same. We just hide our crayon drawings behind emails and gym bags.
All right, let's dive into some real-world examples.
Let's start with how we handle good news. Someone tells you, "I got the job." The standard polite reflex is, "Congrats. It's fine, it's nice," but it kind of stops the conversation cold. Instead, try giving a receipt. Say, "You must be so relieved. Were you nervous waiting to hear back?" You name the relief and you ask about the nervous wait. You're inviting them to actually share their human experience rather than just filing the fact away in a mental cabinet.
It's the exact same dynamic with bad news. A colleague sighs and says, "My train got canceled again." The default response is usually the generic, "That sucks." Fact acknowledged, conversation over. But what if you step in with an emotional receipt? That sounds so draining. Is it messing up your whole evening? You name the specific feeling, draining, and you ask about the current impact. You are truly validating their frustration.
And hey, we absolutely can't forget about the small wins. Someone says, "I finally went back to the gym." The dismissive response is our old enemy, "Nice." Let's upgrade that, for sure. Try, "That must feel good to get the first one done. Was starting the hardest part?" You validate the positive emotion of overcoming a hurdle and ask about the friction of starting. It literally turns a throwaway comment into a moment of genuine support.
You know, the secret weapon of this whole framework is this. You are not pretending to be deep. You're really not. You are simply proving that you noticed what the moment meant to them. It removes all the pressure. You aren't playing therapist. You don't need to overanalyze their childhood trauma. You're just paying genuine attention and proving that you are completely present with them.
So, here are 3 ways to start using this today.
Let's walk through your difficulty settings here. If you're just starting out, begin in easy mode. When someone tells you something today, you don't even have to speak differently. Just quietly ask yourself in your own head, What feeling is probably underneath this? Just practice spotting it. Once you're comfortable, level up to medium mode. Swap the word nice or cool for a specific feeling out loud. So instead of that's annoying, say that sounds incredibly frustrating. And finally, challenge mode. In just one conversation today, push yourself to ask a follow-up question specifically about the emotion, not just the logistical event. Like, did they feel excited or just relieved it was over?
We spend so much of our lives just communicating facts, passing each other in the hallways like ships in the night, handing out blank paper receipts. But true connection doesn't happen in the facts. It happens in the feelings we share. So I want to leave you with this question to ponder as you go about your day. What feeling is hiding underneath the very next thing someone says to you? See if you can catch it, name it, and transform your next invisible moment into a genuine human connection.